I'm Hammi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be budgeting for the month of September, and this is going to be an interesting one because I'll be budgeting only once this month. So the amount that I'm budgeting for the month of September is 64,320 rupees. And this is a total from various different sources. First is my salary. The amount is the same always. That's 31,100 rupees. My private practice I have 3970 only, and this is because typically when I used to budget twice every month, what I would do was the income that I would get from my private practice from the 1st to the 15th, I would use that money to budget for the second half of the month, that is for the 16th to the last day of the month. And the income that I would generate from the 16th to the last day of the month, I would use that money to budget for the first half of the next month. Which means that the income that I would have earned from the 16th of August to the 31st of August is the money that I would be using to budget for the first half of September. But in the second half of August, I went on a work travel and I couldn't attend my private practices, so I have only 3970. And from my rental, I have 6,000 rupees, and 2,500 rupees is a interest that I got in one of my savings account. I have 5 savings account in 5 different banks, and that's because each of those savings account has a purpose. And the savings account where I keep my sinking funds, I got 2,500 interest in that, and I am including this interest money to budget for the month of September. And this last amount, that's 20,750, is the money that I'm paying myself from my business fund to budget for the month of September, because I know that this money that I have is not going to be enough to fund for all of the categories, and it's not going to be enough for the whole month of September. So now coming to the budgeting part, I have already written 2,000 rupees into my general savings, and that's because I've been trying to film this video since last night, and I couldn't do it because there were a lot of disturbances, and so I stopped it midway. General savings is getting 2,000 rupees. So when I put 2,000 rupees into general savings, the balance that I have is 62,320. Coming to my fixed expenses, LIC, I'm not budgeting anything this time. That's because I have a few budget priorities that I need to work on first, and LIC is not a priority right now. Sibling funds will be getting 1,000 as usual. SIP also will be getting 1,000. EMI is 13,615. RD will be getting 6,000 rupees. RR, that's my sister's room rent, my share is 4,500. Ration, I always budget 3,500 each month, but this month I'll be budgeting 3,000 rupees. This is because I need to cut down on a few categories. LIC is not an emergency right now. The premium is to be paid in the month of December, so I still have time for that. And ration also, I am cutting out 500 rupees from this, because I can always buy a smaller packet of detergent, or I can also buy 1 bottle less of toilet cleaner. I'll have to work on that, try to be creative. And this ration category is for the month of October. I like to budget 1 month in advance for ration and for room rent. So now coming to my subscription category, I am budgeting 1,400 for this. When we add all this up, the total that I get is 30,515 rupees. And 30,515 minus 62,320, the balance that I get is 31,805 rupees. Coming to my next category, I am cash flowing an expense for festivities because I have a festival on the 1st of September, and I am budgeting 5,000 rupees for this. So when I subtract 5,000 rupees minus 31,805 rupees, the balance that I get is 26,805. I have already done the math, so I am just referring to my real life budget notebook. So the next category is my variable expenses, and for my variable expenses, I am budgeting 5,500 this time. I usually budget 5,000 rupees for a month. That is, I used to budget 2,500 for the first half and 2,500 for the second half. But because this is the first time I'm trying to budget once a month, I just want to be on the safer side. So I am putting 500 extra. This is just a psychological thing, so that I feel like, okay, the money is there for the whole month. Because when initially I was working on my budget for the month of September, and when I budgeted 5,000 rupees for food and groceries, I felt a little anxious because I felt like, what if the money is not enough? Because when I used to budget twice a month, if in the first half I see that the money is slowly depleting for the food and groceries category, I would have this feeling in the back of my mind where it's okay, I'm going to budget for it again in a few days. But now, since I have to carry this amount for the whole month, that's for 30 days, I feel a little bit overwhelming. So I'm budgeting 500 extra so that I don't get anxious and getting overwhelmed. And then petrol will be getting 3000 rupees. For the petrol category, I used to budget 3200 per month, but every month I always have some money remaining in my petrol category, and even last month, that's in the month of August, I only went to get petrol once, and I filled the tank full, and it only cost me 2600, and the petrol was there for the whole month. So I feel like 3000 rupees is going to be enough. So this month I have a new category, that's eating out. Eating out used to be included in the miscellaneous category before, but I started to realize that from my miscellaneous category, most of the expenses would be on eating out. So now I want to cut down on eating out, and I have been having a really upset stomach for 2 months now, and I want to set some boundaries for myself. So this month I started an eating out category, and I'm hoping to carry it forward. I want this to be a part of my budgeting categories even in the future so that I can cut down a little bit of expenses on eating out. Otherwise, if I see that I have money in a miscellaneous category, I would just go out and eat something. I would just order something. So this month for eating out category, I am budgeting only 1500, and I have no intention of going out to eat. But if I don't put anything also, that would feel too restrictive again. So 1500 should do it, and we'll get to know how I fare in this category when I do my budget closeout for the month of September. Coming to my personal category, this month I am budgeting 3500. My personal category basically covers clothes, shoes, toiletries. In toiletries, I also include the facials or massages, or if I get any pedicure or manicure. I basically get a facial done once every 2 months, and I got one done last month, so this month I don't need to get a facial. And pedicure and manicure, I get that done when I am supposed to travel outside. So I do not have any plans for traveling outside this month, so I think 3500 should do it for me. And in my miscellaneous category, I am budgeting 3000 rupees. Miscellaneous category usually covers anything that I have not budgeted for. So when I add all this up, the total that I get is 16,500 rupees. And 16,500 rupees minus 26,805, the balance that I get is 10,305 rupees. Coming to my sinking funds, my car maintenance is getting 3,000 rupees because I have to get my car checked. I already have 1,000 rupees in my car maintenance fund. So when I allocate 3,000 rupees into it, the total adds up to 4,000 rupees, and that will be enough for getting my car checked. Medical will be getting 500 rupees. I usually budget 1,000 rupees into my medical fund, but this month I'm only going to put 500 into it, and my pets category will not be getting anything. So vacation sinking fund will be getting 3,500, and adding all this up, the total comes up to 7,000 rupees. 7,000 minus 10,305, the balance that I get is 3,305 rupees. And this 3,305 I'll be putting into my financial goals. And that leaves us with a balance of 0. So this is my budget for the month of September, and I will try to make this budget work. Thank you so much if you're still here watching the video. I hope you have a great month ahead. I hope to see you soon. Until then, take care and bye-bye.